Today on Nursing Matters, the nurse reputation effect, what people say about you when you're not in the room. I'm Christina, and this is your daily dose. Let's get into it. So good evening, nurses. I hope you had a great day so far, or at least a better day than the nurse who just spent 15 minutes looking for a working workstation on wheels, finally found one, logged in, and immediately got kicked out because the battery died. Healthcare builds character, mostly patience. So today we're talking about something that has had a tremendous impact on your career, yet almost nobody talks about it: your reputation. I'm not talking about your annual performance review, not your employee file, not your LinkedIn profile, your actual professional reputation. What people say about you when you're not in the room. Now, before anybody starts sweating, this isn't a gossip episode. This is a career strategy episode. Because after more than 20 years recruiting healthcare professionals, I can tell you something that may surprise you. Some of the biggest opportunities in nursing happen long before a job is ever posted. We've said it before. And they often begin with a simple conversation. Hey, do you know a good nurse? That's it. That's the question. And the answers to that question have launched thousands of careers. But first, let's get into today's nursing news. One workforce trend I've been watching closely is the continued emphasis healthcare organizations are placing on retention. Hospitals are spending millions trying to answer one question: how do we keep great nurses? And honestly, I think that's the wrong question. The better question is, how do we create environments where great nurses want to stay? There's a difference there. Healthcare leaders are finally realizing that compensation matters, flexibility matters, culture matters, professional growth matters, recognition matters, and perhaps most importantly, nurses want to feel valued. Not pizza valued, actually valued. You know exactly what I mean. There's a difference between someone bringing pizza during Nurses Week and someone investing in your growth all year long. One feels like appreciation, the other feels like leftovers. Just keeping it real. Now let's talk about your career. I want you to think back to every opportunity you've ever received. A new position, a promotion, a special project, a committee assignment, a mentorship opportunity, a recommendation, a leadership role. I would bet many of those opportunities came through relationships. Not applications, relationships. Because healthcare is a surprisingly small world. Nurses move, managers move, directors move, recruiters move, executives move, but the relationships follow them. And here's what happens. A manager needs someone dependable. A director needs a committee member. A recruiter needs a candidate. Someone asks, do you know anybody? And suddenly your name enters the conversation. Or it doesn't. That's the reputation effect. Now, let's clear something up. A strong reputation is not about being the smartest nurse. It's not about being perfect, and it's not about never making mistakes. Because let's be honest, if perfection was required, healthcare would shut down by noon. A strong reputation is built on consistency. Can people count on you? Do you communicate well? Do you help others? Do you solve problems? Do you remain professional during difficult situations? Do you treat people with respect? Those are the things that people remember about you, not whether you started your IV in one attempt, although admittedly that's always nice. One of the biggest myths I see is nurses assuming their reputation is based entirely on clinical skills. Yes, clinical skills do matter, but they're only part of your story. I've seen incredibly talented nurses struggle professionally because nobody wanted to work with them. I've also seen good nurses become extraordinary leaders because people trusted them. Trust really matters, more than people realize. Now, let me tell you something funny. When recruiters talk about candidates, we rarely start with credentials. We don't say, tell me about their BLS. We don't say, tell me about their annual competencies. What we usually say is, what's it like working with them? That's the real question, because skills can be taught to anyone. Attitude, that's a whole different story. Professionalism is harder. Emotional intelligence is harder. And healthcare organizations know it. So let's talk about what damages a reputation. This is where things can get uncomfortable. So, the nurse who constantly complains, the nurse who creates drama, the nurse who disappears when work needs to be done, the nurse who's wonderful to managers and awful to coworkers. People notice, and here's the thing. Healthcare professionals talk, not maliciously, just naturally. Reputations spread, the good ones and the bad ones. Now, before this turns into a cautionary tale, let's focus on the positive side. How do you intentionally build a reputation that creates opportunities? Well, first, you have to be reliable. It sounds boring because it is, but reliability is career gold. The people who consistently show up, follow through, and keep their word become trusted. Trust creates opportunity. Second, be helpful. Notice I didn't say be a martyr. There's a difference. You don't need to save everyone. You don't need to pick up every shift. You don't need to answer every text message. But helping others when you can builds goodwill. Third, stay professional during difficult moments. Anyone can be pleasant when things are going well. Character reveals itself when things are not. How you handle conflict matters. How you handle stress matters. How you handle frustration matters. Fourth, become known for something. Maybe you're the wound care expert, the educator, the IV wizard, the calm person during a crisis, the mentor, the problem solver. Every strong professional brand has an identity. If you're enjoying Nursing Matters, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Every share helps us reach another nurse who may need encouragement, career guidance, or simply a reminder that they're not alone. Ready to take control of your nursing career? Visit rnnet.org for nursing jobs, career resources, leadership insights, salary trends, and professional development tools. Everything you need to effectively manage your nursing career today. That's rnnet.org. Now, here's something I wish every nurse understood. Your reputation is being built every single day, not during the big moments, during the small ones. That conversation in the hallway, the way you respond to a new nurse on the unit, the way you handle feedback, the way you treat environmental services, dietary staff, physicians, aides, and coworkers. People notice. Years ago, I interviewed a candidate whose references were really good. Actually, I would say they were exceptional, not just good. Every single person said the same thing. She makes everyone around her better. Think about that. Not she's the smartest, not she's the fastest, not she knows the most. She makes everyone around her better. That's one of the strongest professional reputations a person can build. Imagine if that became your goal, not just being a great nurse, but being the kind of nurse who elevates everyone around you. Now, let's talk about your challenge for this week. I want you to ask yourself one question. If someone asked 5 of your coworkers to describe you professionally, what would they say? Not what you'd hoped they would say. What would they actually say? Then ask yourself, is that the reputation I want? If the answer is yes, keep building it and keep rolling with it. If the answer is no, it's time to start intentionally shaping it. Because reputations are not fixed, they're earned. They're built. And they're strengthened one interaction at a time. Now, before we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this. You don't need to know the right people. You don't need to have the perfect career plan. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. But if people trust you, respect you, enjoy working with you, and know they can count on you, opportunities will find you. Maybe not tomorrow and maybe not next week, but eventually. Because people remember how you make them feel. And they remember who they want beside them when things get difficult. Be that person. That's your daily dose. Share this with a nurse who makes everyone around them better. I'm Christina. Keep showing up because nursing matters. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Nursing Matters Daily Dose. Are you interested in more career resources? Then hop on over to the RN Network at rnnet.org. Also, while you're at it, hit that like and subscribe button and share this episode with one nurse who really needs to hear it. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.